Guys, so I just wanted to do a quick video because I'm so fucking pumped on life right now, and if you're offended, sorry for you. I have been in constant pain for a year and a half, almost 2 years now. Abdominal pain. I can't tell you how many countless doctors I've seen, how many specialists I've seen, how many tests I've had done, how much blood work I've had done, blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. And for me, that's really what started my adventure in Reiki. I figured, if someone can't heal me, I can heal myself. And so I've been on this adventure, which now I'm a Reiki master. I just got my certification in that of January of 2017 this year. I got my Reiki 1 and 2 when it was December of 2015, I believe. Yes, sounds right. 16. Regardless, that's why I started this journey. I was like, if they can't help me, I'm gonna help myself. Well, I've continued that path. As a lot of you know, I just recently went to Tony Robbins Unleash Power Within this past weekend in LA. And that was a fucking life-changing event for me. I just feel full of energy, full of power, I let go of things that were holding me back that I didn't even know were holding me back. I feel like a totally different person. I feel like I have life, I have energy. It wasn't just the Unleash Power Within event that was life-changing for me. It was literally the whole trip that me and Megan took. Megan's my wife, for those of you who don't know. We drove from Oklahoma to LA, and on the way there, we made, a road trip out of it. Why not? We had a 20-hour drive, and we're like, well, let's just leave early. We'll stop in places. So we stopped in New Mexico. We went to Arizona. We went to the Grand Canyon. We went to Sedona, which was awesome for me. For all you people who know, I'm totally into crystals and all that stuff. And while I was in Sedona, I saw a medical intuitive. For those of you who don't know what a medical intuitive is, easiest way I can think to describe it is a person that's almost like a psychic, and they can tell what's wrong with your body. This is something that I had never done before, but I felt urged to do it. And so I started researching before we left. And I saw a couple things, but I didn't act upon it, okay? Well, then we're driving, and we're on our way to the Grand Canyon, or from the Grand Canyon. I think we're on the way to the Grand Canyon. Anyways, again, that thought comes to my mind, and I'm like, you know what? This is something I've never done before. I've never been to Sedona, and I really want to get that experience. And I was wanting to do a Reiki session with someone there, so, I could have it done somewhere else to see how it feels. But something kept pushing me to the medical intuitive, so I went. I went to this lady. Her name is Wanda, and I can't think of her last name off the top of my head, but she was phenomenal. She had told me that I had a hiatal hernia, and I said, funny story, because when all this happened at the very beginning, my intuition, which we all sometimes don't listen to, even though it's usually 100% right, we let ego get in the way, and as Tony Robbins says, if you get in your head, you're dead. And that's what happened. I was just like, no, that's not it, whatever. And I kept having doctors tell me that wasn't what it was. I had all these tests done. They're like, no, it's in your head, blah, blah, blah. I go to see this medical intuitive. She told me it was a hiatal hernia. And I said, funny you should say that, because I thought that's what it was when all of this first started. But I was told by medical professionals that's not what it was. And I, like so many others, took that for what it's worth. And, I put my health in someone else's hands instead of taking it into mine. But when I did this last thing for myself, the medical intuitive, I'm taking my life back. And it's just things like that. It's baby steps, okay? Well, she had told me that I needed to find not just a chiropractor, because most of you know, I love chiropractors. I went to a chiropractor since I was younger for neck and back problems. I was in a really bad car wreck when I was 5 years old, and really messed up my neck, and I used to have bad migraines all the time, so I went to the chiropractor for over a decade. I couldn't even tell you how long. Almost 2 decades now. But all that to say, she said find a chiropractor, and not just any chiropractor. Find a chiropractor that knows how to do a stomach drop technique and that does applied kinesiology. This is the second time I'd ever heard of kinesiology. The first time I heard it was when I was exploring acupuncture, which I still do that. I go see a great acupuncturist. His name is Dr. Lee, and he's from China. He's been doing it for over 30 years. This guy is incredible. But he did kinesiology muscle testing on me, but for food intolerances, which is awesome. If you have never done that, I suggest you do. It's way better than, I guess, like the typical allergy test that you would have to get where you get pricked or they put the stuff on your skin and you break out, whatever. It is crazy, and when I say crazy, I mean it in the most awesome, great, good way as possible. Like, it's mind-blowing. I need to stop saying crazy and say mind-blowing, because as a society, we've put this meaning to the word crazy, that it's negative connotation or whatever, that it means something bad. But I don't use it as that. Like, I'm trying to change the way I use words, and I never really have used it as like, oh, you're batshit crazy. I just meant like, that is so incredible that I can barely wrap my mind around it. That's what I mean when I say crazy. Like, that is so awesome. But, so, when I was seeing this medical intuitive, she had told me to find that person. On our drive back from our trip, yesterday we got back, it was 2 days ago, Monday we were driving back. I started searching frantically for chiropractors that were in Oklahoma that did that thing. There are 2 chiropractors in the state of Oklahoma that do and use applied kinesiology. One is in Tulsa and one is in Midwest City. The one in Midwest City obviously is the one I picked. Her name is Dr. Beverly. She's freaking awesome. I know I was supposed to meet this woman. For my goal and the decision that I have made to start this Reiki business and really use it for good, I'm meeting people like this everywhere. Like, I know they're supposed to be in my circle, in my influence group, whatever. For example, when I was filling out the sheets in there, you know, the intake forms, one of the things it asks is what you've been doing to treat this thing that's going on, problem, whatever you want to call it. Reiki was on there as an option. And that's how you know the freaking world is changing. People used to think that even chiropractic was like witchcraft, weird stuff, till they started doing studies and really paying attention at it, like what they were doing, and they were blown away. And now how many chiropractors do you see just driving around anymore? Buildings. Tons of them. The world is changing, people. And I have done to the T what this event was about, and I have unleashed the power within and within myself. I was holding myself back. I was letting the outside world influence me, even though I knew what it really was that was wrong. And at the end of the day, I think that's what it's about. Don't ever doubt yourself. It's so easy because you can always be your biggest critic, and if a doctor who has a degree is telling you that's not it, then what do you know? You're just a simple little human. You're just little plain old Jane me. No. That's bullshit. You're fucking powerful, and only you know what is the best for you. You know when something's wrong. I knew when something was wrong. I knew what being healthy and vibrant and full of energy felt like. So these past 2 years when I haven't felt that, I knew something was wrong. Even though I was being told over and over it was in my head. It wasn't in my head. It never has been. If you have something going on, speak up for yourself. I can't tell you how many people. I have a friend, I have a friend who went through the same thing. She was told by doctors, oh, it's not this, it's not this. And you know what? She's now battling one of the rarest types of cancers because it was prolonged for so long. And she's lost a leg. And she is still a fucking fighter. I admire her so much. I might not tell her as often as I should, which I try to be as purposeful as I can about that, but she's a fucking warrior. Her mom also has cancer right now, and you know what? Her mom went to a doctor, and she kept saying, my stomach's hurting, she's bloated, hell is pain. You know what they tried to tell her? She was constipated. Do you know what she did? She kept pushing back and pushing back. Until finally, they're like, fine. They'll do a test. I think it might have been like a CT or something. I'm not sure. You know what they found out? She had ovarian cancer. Had she not pushed for that, she might not be here right now. And she's still fighting. But think if she wouldn't have pushed back and just took it for what it was worth, she wouldn't be here. Neither one of them would be here. Only you know what is best for yourself. Don't let other people dim your light to make themselves feel better or for whatever reason. At the end of the day, we're all human. They're a human just like you and they make mistakes. Do you want to trust your life in someone else's hands other than your own? Or do you want to stand up and fight for it? I hope that you follow me on this journey because it's going to be a wild fucking ride. It's going to be awesome and we're going to change lives. I can't wait to begin. I'm already beginning. You can't help someone until you help yourself. And that's my lesson I was supposed to learn in all this. You can't give from an empty cup. My cup's fucking overflowing and I am willing to share it with all of you. And I'm so fucking excited. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.